Hey there, geometry students. For Geometry A, for Mr. Arno's class, every week I release a couple videos and there's homework at the end. This week I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. I'm only gonna release one video. So this video, instead of being 10 minutes each, this one's gonna be a little longer, maybe closer to 15 to 20 minutes, and the homework will be at the end. That way I figure it might be easier just to have one video, one link, not as complicated that way. All right, there's quite a few things to go over. First things we learned, I'll just kind of review, just a review. We have a line, a straight line. A straight line is 180 degrees. It goes from 0 to 180. Now, if I make this line, if I divide it into two angles, for example, I have an acute angle here, a smaller angle, smaller than 90 degrees. And we said, let's, for example, this is 40 degrees. And we have an obtuse angle here. That obtuse angle has to be 140. And the reason it's 140 is because these two have to add up. Those two angles have to add up. And that is called a linear pair because it's a pair of angles that make a line. I want to introduce, so this is a linear pair. A linear pair. I want to introduce some new vocabulary words here, okay, guys? Even though it's a linear pair, there's another thing too. If I just told you 140 degrees and 40 degrees, what is their relationship? You could also say their relationship is, here's another word, it's called supplementary. Supplementary, and I'm going to put here angles. So that little symbol right there, anytime I put it, means angle. So supplementary angles. What does supplementary mean? Simple. They add up to 180 degrees. Simple as that. So I'm going to give you a few examples. Okay. So let's do these. I'm just going to write a few over here. 30 and 120, 10 and 90, 145 and 35, 22 and 158, and then lastly, let's go 40 and 150. Okay, let's see which one of these are supplementary. Okay. Actually, you know what? This one I want to do 28. Okay, let's see which one of these are supplementary. 30 and 120. Well, how do I know if they're supplementary? Let's add them up. We're going to add up 30 and 120. That's going to give us 150. That is not supplementary. Let's try this one. 10 and 90. That's going to be 100. Not 180. So that's not supplementary. 145 and 35. Let's see. 145 plus 35 is going to give us, yes, it gives us 180. So these are called supplementary. I'm going to put a check mark right there. 22 and 158 also adds up to 180 if my math is correct. That is also called supplementary. Those are supplementary angles. And the last one, 40 and 50, do not. That adds up to 90, not 180. But this is what I wanted to show. If two angles add up to 90, there's another word for that. That is called complementary. Now, you're not going to be necessarily using this for this week's test, but I just want to let you guys know. If you see 90, if something adds up to 90, it's called complementary. They add up to 180, like these two. They are called supplementary angles. Okay. So now I'm going to take this concept a step further now. Let's do this. Draw a line here, and I'm going to draw another line passing through it. Okay? Intersecting. That means crossing it or passing through it. I'm gonna label this angle as A, this one as B, this one as C, this one as D. Okay? So I would say here, look at angle A. You see this angle right here? It's just this small angle right here. That is an acute angle. It looks like an acute angle. Who else is an acute angle here between A, B, C, and D? Well, A is acute. The other one that's also acute is C right over there. C is also an acute angle. So let's look at B and D. Those are not acute angles. Those are large. Those are more than 90 degrees. Remember, 90 degrees, it makes like, like a box shape, right? These are larger than 90. I don't know how much it is, but I know B looks like it's an obtuse angle. D is also obtuse. So here's what I wanted to show you guys. I was going to put an example here. instead of putting A, I'm going to put, for A, I'm going to put 50. That is an acute angle because 50 is less than 90. Now, here's what I want to show you guys. I want to show you guys another relationship here. Okay, if this is 50 degrees, and let me use this little towel so I can give you guys an example. I'm going to cover off C and D for a second so you guys can see something. Do you guys see a straight line right there? See what 50 and what angle B? Don't you guys see a linear pair? It's a straight line. They're making the straight line. And what do we know about a straight line? A linear pair, a straight line, makes 180 degrees. That means these two are going to add up to 180. So that's going to be 50. A is 50. So B has to be 130 degrees. Why? Because 130 plus 50 is 180. What's another word that we learned? Another vocabulary word. If two angles add up to 180, the answer is supplementary. That's the other word we learned. Okay? But something interesting happens here. This is what I want to show you guys. I want you guys now to look at this line, okay? Because there's actually different lines here, more than just one line, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to cover off this part, okay? So now I just want you to look at that 130 degrees and the C. The C and the 130. That also makes a straight line. Again, what do we know about a straight line? It adds up to 180. This time I have 130 here. So if I do 180 minus 130, that's going to leave me with C. And C has to be, if they add up to 180, this guy right here, C, where my thumb is hitting right now, has got to be 50 degrees. Has to be 50 degrees because now if you look at this line right here, 50 and 130 equals 180. Let's move it here. This line right here, 50 and 130 equals 180. Now I'm going to take this off and you're going to notice something. Look at this angle. This one was labeled A, I think. And look at this angle. It was labeled C, I believe, right? What do we notice? We notice that both of them are 50 degrees. They're identical. They're equal to each other. There's a word for these angles. They are called vertical angles. Okay, and again, for angles, I'm going to put that little symbol there, okay? Angles. Instead of actually writing down A-N-G-L-E-S, I'm just going to put vertical angles. So 50 and 50, these two angles are vertical angles. So here's my question. Without really doing any more math, if this guy right here is 130, the one across from it, okay, so you see how 50 and 50 are across from each other? They're angles that are across from each other. The one across from it is also going to be 130 degrees. Why is it also 130? Because these two, when they're across from each other, are called, again, vertical angles. So we have two sets of vertical angles here. The 130s are vertical angles, and the 50s are vertical angles. Simple. What are 50 and 130? 50 and 130 are considered a linear pair or supplementary angles. This 50 and this 130 down here, they also make a line, don't they? Okay, look at that. If I cover that up, I know it's kind of hard to see, but that 50 and that 130 right here, they make a line. They're supplementary. They are a linear pair. This one right here, 50 and 130, linear pair. How about this 50 and that 50 and that 130 right there? If I cover these up, yeah, it's going to be supplementary linear pair. Just remember, the ones across from each other are going to be equal. So, guys, just to recap that real quick. Two lines intersecting. I say this is 100 degrees. Done. You got the rest of the other four. Take 2 seconds. Ready? Vertical to 100 is the one across from it. So this one has to be the same thing, 100. So now I'm going to ask you this. The one that makes a straight line with 100, so you can go like this, you can go like this, however you want. The one that makes a straight line with 100 has to add up to 180. So 100 and what will give you 180? Well, simple. This would be 80 degrees. So if I add them up, 100 plus 80 equals 180 degrees. So wait, if that's 80, what would the vertical of that be? 80 degrees as well. And that's vertical angles right there. You guys got it. Those are vertical angles. Okay, that's the first thing I really wanted you guys to know. Okay, next thing I want to show you guys. All right, so it's going to be a little more hardcore. Okay, so continuing on this concept. little more vocabulary here, okay? So this time I'm going to draw 2 lines, and I'm going to say something about this. I'm going to put a little symbol. And notice the arrow is not at the tips. It's like kind of in the middle. This means parallel lines. Parallel line means they're going in the same direction. This and this go forever, and they never touch each other. Okay, it's very important that you know these are parallel lines. Parallel lines are 2 lines, so it can be going this way. That's fine. It could be going this way, any which way it wants, as long as they're both going in the exact same direction. So they never touch each other. So what I'm telling you is these are parallel lines. Sometimes a problem will won't give you these little symbols here, but it'll say, hey, these two are parallel lines. Cool, sounds good. That means they're parallel. Let me call this line A and line B. Sometimes they will say it like this: A is parallel to B. That's what this little symbol means. A is parallel, because it looks like 2 little parallel lines. It's very cute. A is parallel to B. Sometimes they won't put that. They won't even label the line. They won't even say parallel lines. All they'll do is put a little arrow symbol on both of these. And that also means the same thing. These 2 lines are parallel. So you'll just see it a couple different ways. Now I'm going to cut these 2 parallel lines, what we call a transversal. That's not that important. It just means a line that's kind of cutting 2 parallel lines. Okay? This is being cut by this line. Now I want you guys to look very carefully. Look very carefully. You see how there's a line cut like the last problem we did? There's a line cut by a line, and there's a line here cut by the same line. I'm going to give you one of the. I'm going to go like this. Okay. I'm going to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I'm going to label all those angles. Okay. My F could be a little nicer. Sorry about that. All right. And I'm going to give you one of these angles. Ready? I'm going to say A. A is going to be, actually, I'm going to leave that as an A. But A is going to be, see, this is obtuse. See how A is larger than 90? It's a big angle. So I'm going to go angle that's bigger than 90. I'm going to say 120 degrees. Right there, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to come up with some stuff. You ready for this? 120 degrees, A, is vertical to what other angle? A is vertical to C. So I'm going to put for C, I'm also going to put what? 120 degrees. Wow, that was easy. Looking up here now. B. A and B are next to each other, and they make a straight line. Linear pair, supplementary. So they have to add up to 180. So 180, take away, subtracted by 120, you're going to be left with 60. So that means B has to be 60. Automatically, if B is 60, let's look at the vertical angles, B and D. So that has to be. Now, here is the main part. So red light, going off, emergency bells, okay? Why did I go through all that trouble? Well, now you must be asking yourself, okay, well, I got to figure this out. So why don't you give me one of the angles for this, Mr. Arno? I don't need to give you any angles for anything. We already figured all 4 of these angles up. So there was 4 angles up here, A, B, C, and D. Now we have E, F, G, H. We already done with E, F, G, H. And I'm going to show you something. You guys ready? So I want you to look up there, those 4 angles, and look down here. These are literally, when you have parallel lines, these are literally copies of that right there. It's literally a copy, just further down, that's all. Basically take this and go, and you drag it, and it's like you're pulling it, and you drag it, and you put it down here. That's all it is. So if that's a copy of it, here's what it means. E, so you see A right here? A matches with E. So if A is 120, E is 120 degrees. Simple. So now, let's take a look at 60 right here. You see D is 60? So if that's, see how D is on the bottom right here? Well, then what's on the bottom right here? H. So H is 60. Those are called corresponding angles. Those are called corresponding angles. What corresponding means is they're matching. Okay, they're in the same position. So A corresponds with E. D corresponds with H. G corresponds with, so G is on the bottom left. So G corresponds with who up here? Bottom left, that's C. So these are G and C are corresponding angles. So if they're corresponding angles, that's 120, that's 120. F corresponds with B. So if B is 60, this is 60. So if you notice, this and this are literally just a copy of each other. I'm just copying it top and bottom. Right? So corresponding, that's another big name. All right. Take a deep breath because this is the last thing I need to teach you guys. And I'll flip this over to do the homework problem. But I have a couple more vocab words, okay? And you guys need to know these, okay? So I'll leave this up here just like that. I'm just going to add a few more vocab words. All right. So, and I'm going to label these. I'm going to kind of try to use some different colors on these so you guys can kind of understand this a little bit better. And I'll do it with the colors. I'm going to give you an example of a few other things, okay? So let's take a look at C and E, okay? And what I want you to notice is this. When you have parallel lines, there's two kind of sections that you have here, all right? One section is this, and I'm going to do it lightly. You guys see what's in between those two lines? In between those two lines, we call that the interior. Okay? That's called the interior if it's inside. Now, if it's not on the inside, so I'm talking about everything up here and everything down here. All right? If it's not the inside, it's called the outside or the exterior. Okay? So exterior means outside. And in the purple, this part right here is the interior. So we have interior and exterior. Great. Here's what's going on now. You guys ready for this? The next thing that we have to figure out is this. So I said, let's look at C and E. So let me ask you guys this. Are C and E on the interior or are they on the exterior? Well, they're in the purple here. The purple area right there is the interior. So I'm going to write down here, C and E are lines here. Okay? Is a word for it. Okay? It's like kind of like a vocab. C and E are, I know they're interior, but what kind of interior angles are they? So now I want you to notice, you see how E and D are both on this right side? So I'm just looking at the interior right now. C and D are both on the right side. C and F are both on the same side here. But C and E are on different sides. So if you look at this line right here down the middle, E is on the right side of it, C is on the left side of it. So what you call that is alternate. So they're alternate. They're not on the same side, they're alternate. And so it's called alternate interior. Alternate because one's on the right side of this line, C is on the left side of this line, and they're called alternate interior because they're on the inside part. Okay, next one. Let me give you an example here. How about C and F? Let's try C and F. Okay. So C and F are, okay, let's answer this question first. Are C and F on the interior or the exterior? C and F are both in the purple inside. That's what you're going to be called interior. Okay, but this time they're both on the left side. You see that? You see this line right here? C and F are both on the left side, not on one on the left, one on the right. No, they're both on the left side, so they're on the same side. So that's actually what it's called. C and F are called side interior. Those are same side interior. Okay? So, next one. Erase that. So now, let's do this. What if we did this? What if we did, let's try A, which is 120, and let's try G. Okay. So now I'm going to ask you guys this. A and G, are they on the interior or are they on the exterior? Well, clearly, A and G A and G are not on the inside, they're on the exterior. So they are, what kind of exterior? Now, again, I want you to look at this line, this transversal. A is on the right side, G is on the left side of this. Okay, so if you look at this line down the middle, A is on the right, G is on the left. What do we call it if they're not on the same side? Not on the same side, they are called alternate exterior. Okay, and there's one more to kind of go over. And the example I'm going to do here is A and H. A and H. Okay, so let's think about A and H for a second. Are they on the interior or are they on the exterior? Well, clearly at this point you could tell A and H, they're not on this inside part here. A and H are on the outside. But this time, A and H are, if you look at this line, they are both on the right side. A is on the right side of this line, H is on the right side of this line. They're both on the right side. So if they're on the same side, it's called same side exterior. Okay? And that's it for that. I mean, that's all you really need to know. All right, I'm going to flip this over for the homework problems, guys. So, copy this one down. And just a quick reminder, tutoring for geometry is always going to be, for geometry, is going to be at 12 p.m. on Thursdays. So 12 o'clock on Thursdays is when tutoring is. I'm gonna be there for an hour, however long you need me. I'll send you guys the Zoom information. You just log in, okay? So the homework is just two problems. It's a little extensive. Number one, I give you this diagram. Okay, there are two lines that are intersecting. I say, tell me which ones are vertical angles. So I'll start it off. I'll do the first one for you guys. Vertical angles, for example, we could say A and C. A and C are vertical angles. Well, there's another set of vertical angles. Tell me which ones they are. And then you have to tell me all the supplementary ones. I'll give you one example. A and B, see how they're next to each other? They're going to make a straight line. But then there's three more sets. Then number two, I give you just like the one we just did, parallel lines here, and then I have angles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I ask you a few questions. So you might say 7 and 3. 7 and 3. See how they match from top to bottom? Well, they do, because 3 is in the same position as 7. Those are called corresponding. So just fill in the blank. That's basically all it is, okay? And if you see a little degree here, that means you have to put a number for these guys, okay? That's about it. Thanks, you guys. Sorry for the long video, but this will be the only video.